Hi there, my name is Marty. Thank you for clicking on this video. I'm standing here next to a brand new 2025 model kayak from Pelican, and those folks were kind enough to give me this boat to review and test out. And in this video I'm showing myself in rather raw footage of the very first time I was on the water on this boat. Now, one of the things I did not realize when I was out there was that this boat only retails for $449. So, over the years I've sort of become spoiled by some of their more high-end boats, many of which are over $1,000, but have stadium seats and foot power and skegs and rudders that make them track perfect. These high-end boats, you would expect, are going to be a little bit different. Well, I took this boat out with those same expectations, and in the beginning of the video you'll see that I get a little bit pissy, and the lesson that I learned from this boat was something that I learned a long time ago, like back in 2007 when I bought a kayak for $300 used that didn't have these features, something that I eventually added to. I didn't track great, so I added a skeg to it. I wasn't able to stand on it, so I put pontoons on it. Anyways, that turned into a legendary kayak and taught me that you don't need sometimes to have the fanciest things in the world to get out on the water and fish and have a great time. This kayak reminded me of that gently, and I thought I would put this video out very raw. It's a long video, I apologize, but it taught me a lesson that I had forgotten. Perhaps you guys will learn from it as well. So let's go out on the water for the very first time in this brand new kayak. Okay, you good? This is the Maiden Voyage of the S.E.E.K. I'm pretty sure when I recorded this I didn't expect it to go public, but here we go. My initial reaction is that I'm going to be seeking a towel from my butt when I'm done. I was very skeptical of the seat design and the very thin cushion. Yeah, I think my ass is going to get wet. I also think a rudder on this would be real nice. Maybe I'm just spoiled. Watch what happens here when the wind and the current are at my back. A little bit of a tailwind here. Oh yeah, and I'm spinning already. Can't even get a cast off. Man, this thing is spinny. It's extra frustrating when I'm trying to focus the camera where I'm fishing and the kayak is all over the place. The question is, what happens when I catch a fish? I don't know if I'll be able to figure that out or not. Wow. The helm on this is freaking awful. In the kayak's defense, I was in a narrow cut, which made tracking really awful, and it was starting to make me a little mental. Get over it. Fuck you. That wind has got me. Well, just let it do with you whatever it will. I need to have the camera pointed in the right direction. That's the problem about filming in a kayak like this. Wow, this is just awful. Christ, this thing is awful. At this point, I'm kind of giving up on fishing this particular spot, which is frustrating, and decide I have to go somewhere else that might be better suited to this kayak. Wow. Just wow. Well, where the fish might be. See how this thing paddles. I'm going to put a skeg on this thing. I'm trying my best at this point to not pay attention to the tracking capabilities of this boat. Instead here I'm trying to focus on something good, like the fact that this is very maneuverable and pretty quick too. Tide's going out. I'm going to lose my shoes coming back in. It's fast, I'll give it that. It'll track good too if I put a skeg on it. Still seem to be stuck on negativity though, as I see the tide dumping out of this area that already has hardly any water in it. I don't think I've ever had a kayak that had that concave shaped seat with no scuppers. I remember a buddy of mine and his brother came out to fish with me one day, long time ago. And it was December and it was cold. I think no matter where in the country you live, that day was cold. It was okay for me. I had waders on, boots, I had a modified seat on my old red kayak, and I didn't have to worry so much about getting wet. My friend wasn't too bad, but I do remember that the tide was low, as they tend to be in the winter time, and we had to get out at some point. And had I been a little bit more experienced, I would have mentioned that to them. Like, you guys don't have the right footwear on, because they had sneakers and socks. So they were determined, though, to get to that spot where I wanted to go, where I told them that there were all these fish. So they got out and they walked, and their feet were wet. And, my buddy's brother's butt was soaked. Whew. Got to the point where they, their lips were blue and their hands were shaking, and they were like, we got to go back. We had already gone maybe 2 miles. It was pretty wise of them to turn around and go back. Nowadays, I would have seen that and said, no, we got to go somewhere else, or you guys need different kayaks or something. My buddy's brother had a concave seat. I don't think he had a cushion or anything. A young, virile guy. I mean, he didn't need a cushion, but his ass got soaked. Because every time the paddle drips like that, or a wave would come over or whatever, there'd be a little bit of water, then there'd be a little bit more water, then there'd be some more water, and before you knew it, we weren't out there very long. His ass was sitting in a puddle, which, yeah, you're on a kayak, what do you expect? Of course you're going to get wet, but if you're out there recreationally for 30-40 minutes, whatever it is, who cares? You're right. If you get wet, go swimming and enjoy yourself, and especially if the summer is hot. But if you're going to sit all day long and fish, oof, that can be real tough on the old glutes. So I'm reminded of that. But regardless, it's just something to think about. And you are looking for kayaks. Okay, get to a spot where this gets a little deeper. There might be fish there. I don't know. If there aren't any fish, then, well, we can just fade into me going back to the shop with my tail between my legs. You can see there that I'm talking to myself as the editor and not as you, the viewer, because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with all this footage. As I stated earlier, I was pretty spoiled by other Pelican boats that are more high-end. Really doing my best to settle in and look at the positive benefits of having even this entry-level kayak. Tide's going this way, wind's going that way. Make it a little chop in the water. Every once in a while, I gotta say, there's not much hull slap, which is good. But I go any faster than this, which is practically, I don't know, 1 mile an hour, 2 miles an hour. I go any faster than that, it's gonna be splashing, getting on me, and I'm gonna get behind this tree and work this tree line here. Might not be able to go too far beyond that. The second I stop paddling, I'm going to be sideways and backwards. Perhaps, like I said earlier, being spoiled with these high-end kayaks that I'm used to is why that I kind of forgot that in any kayak, really, you're supposed to be aware of your conditions, and sometimes there are places you just can't go in a kayak that you might be able to go in a boat or something. Even here and now in this kayak, I was able to get away from the shore, not be stuck there having to fish from a pier or something. I was actually out here in the water doing it. I think before long I kind of get over my negativity, like I said, though, eventually. What a cast. That's a good cast. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see the blow up if it happens. I need to crab walk this thing. This is awful. I think this is the first time that I finally have a moment of peace, because I got out of the wind and I started to choose my spots more carefully, especially given the fact that I was on a kayak with no skig. I gotta say though, this is not exactly where I would have fished if I had my druthers. Inside this elbow here was very shallow. So spoiled. Being thoroughly convinced that there were no fish in this little corner over here, I decided to test a different aspect of this kayak, one that made it far superior to my original little red kayak. Let's see if I can stand in this thing. I gotta say, that's a big success. Score 1 for the Pelican SEEK. Standing's easy. Not only was I standing, but I was fishing, and the conditions were extremely windy. It's always hard to tell how windy it actually is with the GoPro, but look at the bow of the boat. You can see how hard I'm being pushed around. Not exactly fun. Okay. Mile an hour, opposite direction. I want to go. Anchor or something. Jeez. As you can see here, I've got a lot going on between filming and fishing, trying to take note of all the things about this kayak that I might have problems with, and all the things that I'm thinking about doing to this kayak in the future, DIY style. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Get closer to that tree. That's it. Holy shit. Me. This is just unacceptable. Throw a mirror lure, see what happens. Maybe a chance of catching a fish. What's happening there is you got straps up front where there are hooks. It's eventually going to not be a good thing. Immediately sideways. Whatever. I can just fish this way. Could be redfish along that bank. What I'll do is go into the wind land and turn sideways. Just say the hell with it. The outgoing tide might hold me against the wind a little bit. The challenge. Front coming. Yeah. Having found a spot where the kayak would settle in between the outgoing tide and the incoming wind, I was finally in a spot where I could actually concentrate on fishing, which immediately improved my mental state. Days like this, you could actually find yourself having an epic day if you catch a big fish. No. I don't think so today. You hear the fishing lines behind me singing in the wind? You know, when I lived on a boat, I spent a lot of time in marinas. Whenever it freaking started blowing, which was often down by the water, you'd hear whistling like that from the sailboats, from the whatever those sheets are called, going clang, 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 clang. Whew. They would make a racket sometimes. I don't know about this tide, man. Casting too far. I need to get under those trees. So, I'm going to switch. Now we'll use the mirroring. Now we'll use the soft plastic. So that we got a chance at least. Skip that under the tree. Maybe back in there. There's a fish seeking refuge nearer the bank, out of the tide. Can't get it under there. Again. Wind is knocking it down. Goes back pretty far. Even if there were no fish here, this was a good opportunity to practice my casting, getting near those trees under the limbs, and just like that, I'm on a fishing kayak instead of testing out a recreational kayak, huh? I guess it's good to be in the right spot no matter what kayak you're on. Yeah, this is a decent spot. It's interesting how the tide and the wind have got me almost against the wall. I'm just going to find the right spot. You know, even in conditions like this, you can get out there and fish. Might try the same thing on the other bank. Maybe. Let's try it. Sometimes it's actually a good thing to let the wind push you around and drift from here to there while you're looking for fish. Very recently I did pretty well by drifting along a flat, fish. And I get near the trees and I motor out deeper. That was a successful day. Not too far from here. I have a motor today, though. Nor do I have a damn line seat like this. I don't have time for that. Yes, being in a situation without a trolling motor, or any motor really, on a small kayak means you gotta like take it easy and accept the things that you have no control over. Easy does it. Ooh, I see lots of them. Interesting. I got a buddy who tells me that where there's mullet, there's redfish. That'd be nice. Mullet. 2, 3. Let's get a little closer. Needlefish there. More mullet. Alright, there you go. In the shade. Nobody there? Problem with this is that if I get hung up in this tree, it's going to be difficult to get out. Just that. See a mullet. Another problem that you might encounter in these types of conditions are wind knots, especially if you're trying to cast sideways and, well, things happen. And when they do, it's nice to have another rod as a backup. Jesus, bro. This is bad. This rod's done. I'm just gonna get that back in. There you go. Jesus. Alright, so much for that. Well, making casts like that with a Maiden is very risky, as is maybe coming out in conditions like this on a kayak that you're not familiar with, but no risk, no reward, right? And you can see out there in the distance there's a buddy of mine, and there's always competition between him and I, so I wanted to take as many risks as I could so I could catch a fish, and eventually I got my wish. Well, despite the conditions of being very windy, this being a new kayak without a skeg or an anchor, I was still able to catch a fish, which was proof of concept that getting out there is the most important thing, no matter what kayak you happen to be on. There you go. Evidence. Bye. crazy people out here. Me and this guy. That's my fishing buddy Steve over there, who's 77. He's on a Catch Power with a motor. He's got all the doodads that a man would want on a fishing kayak. And I would be lying if I said that I didn't have some contentment over the fact that I had caught a fish this day on this very inexpensive low-end kayak, and when he did not. We have that kind of relationship where we're always kind of competing with one another, which made me even happier in just a little bit. And that was only because I was braving all of the grass, even throwing a Maiden, and being persistent with my fishing as I was out here testing this brand new kayak. Here my buddy paddles over to ask me what my thoughts are on this kayak. And, you know, I got to be a little bit hyperbolic, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't track worth a shit. However, what truth there may be there about me having issues with this kayak quickly dissolve after hooking into a nice redfish. God, it's awful. Hey, there he is. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's a heavy one. Oh my, he is a heavy one. Yeah. You gotta fight through the grass.
Oh, you got something good, huh?
Yes, I do. Feels like a redfish. Man, I'm on a fucking sleigh ride. That's a redfish, all right. It's coming right at you. Oh man. I hope I get to show you this one. It really is amazing how quickly your opinion of a boat or a kayak can change when the fishing is really good. Part of me doesn't want to land this fish because this is what it's all about. You know, a bent rod sitting out here on front on a kayak with a fish this size. There he is. Ooh, just went sideways for a second. I don't want him in the boat green. I gotta work him on that upper slot redfish right here. Hard to tell when they're in the water. I think he's a keeper size, but I don't plan on keeping him. I just want a picture. Better land him soon. I'm going to be in the trees soon. He's got a heart. Got a heart-shaped tail. See the dot on his tail? Yeah, he's got a heart. Hey, I love you too, Bubba. Come here. Don't put that hook in my hand, please. What is that? Oh, I feel him thrumming. I don't want to let you go yet. See that tail though. There it is. Heart-shaped tail. Alright, I'm done playing with you. Maybe I can get a picture, or measurement rather. Ooh, I got him good in the lip. Before I even had this kayak out on its maiden voyage, I had made some modifications to it, including writing little notches on the side of the boat in a marker so I could measure fish. I'll go over all of the modifications that I made in a future video. About 23. Pretty. Oh, you are a keeper and a beautiful fish. Come here, dude. Don't make babies. Stay away from Maidens. I saw that fish stop in the grass not too far from me, and I wanted to paddle up and see him. And it's amazing how they can live and disappear in such shallow water. Perfect for kayaks. Where'd he go? Just like that, he's gone. Can't even tell he's there. Big old mameluke of a fish. Good kayak. I like you. Well guys, thank you very much for coming along on a rather emotional roller coaster of a maiden voyage aboard my brand new Pelican SEEK. And since I filmed this video, I have made some pretty fun DIY improvements, such as traction pads and a tackle bag and a measuring device and rod extensions, and of course a retractable skeg. That's right, this is now a lean, mean fishing machine, and it's not going to break the bank either. Stay tuned for future videos where I talk about all these DIY improvements. Thanks for coming along with me on my adventures. I'll see you next time.